According to data compiled by the Workforce Intelligence Network of Southeast Michigan, the unemployment rate in Southeast Michigan fell to 8.5% for the first quarter of this year. What other positive news came out of the report? Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Hess and this is Comcast Newsmakers. Joining me now is the Executive Director of the Workforce Intelligence Network, Lisa Katz. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us here today.
That's great news always when unemployment falls, but so often it's due to other factors rather than more people actually working. But this time around, that's not the case. There are more people actually working.
Yeah, so when we look at unemployment, we look at two different things, and one of them is the number of people who are in the workforce, people who have jobs or people who are looking for jobs. And historically speaking, in Southeast Michigan, that number has been going down, which has been driving our unemployment down. And so people have been retiring, they've been going jobs somewhere else, and so that's really what's been bringing our unemployment from 8.5% to 10%. What we saw in the last quarter, and we haven't seen this since 2008 in the first quarter, is that our unemployment went down because this time the labor market stayed steady, but jobs went up, employment went up. So that's a really good thing. That's a good indicator that our economy is improving.
Are there any specific sections or sectors, if you will, of the labor market where we're seeing more people getting jobs and staying in them?
We're seeing job growth in lots of different places. Information technology has been a tried and true growth area for us for a number of quarters now, ever since WIN has been looking at this data and information. But what's kind of a surprise this quarter compared to ones that we've looked at in the past is the increase in demand for truck drivers. And that's a good thing because what that means is that we have more goods flowing through our economy. More manufacturers are selling products, just-in-time inventories are moving back and forth again. So that means that instead of being led by services, job demand is starting to be led by goods again. And that's a good indicator again for Southeast Michigan.
So good that our manufacturers are obviously doing well or coming back, and that we've always heard about diversification. Manufacturing's dead and we need to diversify, but part of that diversification is keeping that manufacturing alive.
Well, it's a big chunk of the jobs that we have now, so we do want to keep those jobs. And in Southeast Michigan, manufacturing a lot of times is comprised of engineering and production. In fact, engineering is a really big part of our economy. We saw some pretty exciting things happening in manufacturing engineering as well. A lot of times we see mechanical engineers leading our job demand, and this time we saw something called materials engineers emerge. That's reflective of things like the Ford F-150 shifting from steel to more aluminum, other materials, getting those vehicles lighter. That helps us to be competitive on the global market. People want those lighter, more efficient vehicles. So that's good. That's good that our automakers are responding to those demands. That means more jobs for us here.
How do we close the gap even further? Because even though unemployment is relatively low here in Michigan, we also hear from a lot of folks, job suppliers, that they can't find qualified people with the correct necessary skills or education that they need, even though there's people out there looking for jobs.
That's right. We hear it all the time. And with the economy getting stronger, we're going to see more demand for workers, and the best ones are going to go first. So we think that means for employers they're going to need to look differently at how they hire talent. We learned in a recent report that was done by CareerBuilder that on average employers spend more on coffee per year than they do on training. As the labor market gets tighter, we are going to have to shift. Employers are going to have to train more.
Train. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
For more information on today's topic, you can visit win-semich.org. Today's Comcast Newsmaker was Lisa Katz, the Executive Director of the Workforce Intelligence Network.